For one, health is wealth. I tell everybody, hey, make sure you're taking care of yourself, like eat right, get your immune system in check, because we've already experienced 2020, right? We've seen a lot. I think that was a precursor. Now, going into something that's 10 times worse, I could see that, because back in 2019, Event 201 happened. So Bill Gates actually simulated COVID before it happened. And this is a year before. So then a year later, oh, surprise, surprise. And then he's an advocate for vaccines, obviously. So I find that pretty interesting. But if we have something 10 times worse, 2027, she said that's a pretty interesting year, because this has been predicted.
All right, guys, Maverick back on the show. I think you might be one of my most viewed guests by now.
Yeah, it's been great, man.
Every time you pop off.
Thank you for having me.
Of course,
once again, we back.
Man, a lot's happened.
Yeah.
Since you've been on at the AI conference. I mean, I think the main thing we should start off with is the Charlie Kirk stuff.
Man, that stuff, man, is so layered. I think, well, for one, what do you think happened? Because I have a whole theory. People were saying that his...
Yeah, there's so many theories. I've been watching Candace every day.
Yeah.
She keeps going all over the place. But
right.
I don't believe the main theory with the FBI is saying that the kid shot him, to be honest.
No, there's no way. For one, that kid, if you look into his background, that kid has a lazy eye. There's no way this kid can take one perfect shot and kill Charlie Kirk. Now, what people don't know about this kid, Tyler Robertson, he actually is, from Utah, went to Utah State University. Now, what's really weird is that he gets a scholarship, and there's a video of that reading his scholarship, acceptance. And, he has super smart kid, 4.0 GPA. And what happens is he gets accepted, and he goes to this school for one semester, then drops out. That's weird. So, okay, maybe, whatever. He decides not to go. But here's the thing. That school has a CIA program called CAI, Central Anticipatory Intelligence. And this whole program is actually made by a CIA directorate. So is it far-fetched that this kid was recruited by the CIA, goes dark, pops back up, and gets coerced into killing Charlie Kirk, right? So to lay it all out, he goes to the roof. Well, first, he changes his clothes. That's weird. Nobody isn't even looking for you. Changes his clothes, goes to the roof, kills Charlie Kirk with one perfect shot, disassembles the rifle, changes clothes again, hops off the roof, puts the rifle back together, and then throws it in a bush. None of that makes sense. So how is it that this kid has all this time to do so, right? Meanwhile, do you know about the patsy? The guy who...
The old guy, right?
The old guy, right? So he gets arrested within 2-3 minutes of the shooting.
Yeah.
No murder weapon. So all of a sudden they just, we got him. Case closed. This is the guy. So how did he get down so fast if somebody was on the roof? And people were saying, hey, there's somebody on the roof. There's footage of this, right? So you arrest this guy, no murder weapon. And then he says, shoot me, which is weird. So if you didn't do it, why are you saying that? Now, mind you, this guy, George Zinn is his name, he's part of a few other very interesting instances. So he says he witnessed 9/11, and he was so sure that Al-Qaeda did it. Red flag number one. And then the other thing is, after the Boston bombing, this guy said, oh yeah, let me go ahead and call in a bomb threat to the Salt Lake City Marathon. Then just say, oh wait, hold on, just kidding. That was, that was just a joke. So he's a master distraction artist, right? So is it far-fetched that this guy was part of the whole plot as well? And they're tying up loose ends to later on to put sex or not, it was I think it was sex charges on child or something of that nature. It's something they threw on him. They already knew that, right? So it's interesting that they're throwing these charges on him now, and they're tying up loose ends, and he's whisked away to jail now.
Yeah.
So all this stuff is like really weird, but my theory is this. I think Charlie Kirk wasn't killed by a human being at all. I think he was killed by a drone. So there's a piece of footage that, you know, a lot of people don't see, but a camera caught a muzzle flash behind him in a vent where no human being can be. So I think that whoever did it, I think it's the FBI, CIA, somebody from the government, my personal theory. I think that they used the drone, made the kid get up there as a patsy to say, look, there he is. Meanwhile, nobody's even looking for a drone. Would you think to even look up for a drone?
No.
Exactly. So that's the perfect ploy right there. So I think that what he was shot by wasn't the type of bullet he was shot by. They were saying that he was shot with a 36, and I think that doesn't make sense either, because if you look it up on YouTube, that type of bullet hitting, you know, a watermelon or any kind of object, it completely explodes it. So his head would have popped off, exploded. There's no way he got hit with that. So I think it was an exit wound, not an entry wound, the way it came out. So if you look at the video, I think he got hit from the back. He clinches like this, which means it probably severed his spine automatically. Probably went dark. It was probably he felt nothing. Probably went out, you know, within seconds. And then that was an exit wound. So I think that's what happened. And I think that this kid was part of some type of CIA program. You know, if you look into MK Ultra, if you look into, you know, they have a long history of this, doing many different projects and secret operations like this. So that's my theory.
They never found the bullet, right?
No. So they're saying that it fragmented in his body. They're calling Charlie Kirk the Man of Steel. And there's no way, if that type of bullet, if you do research on it, it would go straight through him and 3 other people before it even slows down. So how is it that his body can, you know, stop this? And, you know, they're calling him the Man of Steel, and, you know, it's fragmented, and, you know, that's, you know, their story and sticking to it, which is interesting as well, because they leave breadcrumbs. So if you look at the Dairy Queen that he went into, the killer, Tyler, he goes into a Dairy Queen, and I don't know if you saw the footage.
I did.
So if you look in the background, what's behind him? A Superman poster. Now, what is Superman? The Man of Steel.
Wow.
So they leave little, you know, breadcrumbs for you to, you know, piece it together. You may or may not get it. But what's also interesting, too, is that there's a picture of Tyler in his dorm room. On his screensaver, there is an island, right? And this island is called Goat Island in New Zealand. Now, what did Kash Patel say when they caught Tyler? 33 hours, there's that number again. He said, rest well, I'm paraphrasing, rest well, we got him, I'll see you in Valhalla.
Yep.
So that island that's on Tyler's screensaver, there's actually a summer house retreat called Valhalla.
Wow.
So how is it that that's on his screensaver, and then he mentions that as well? Not to mention, Kash Patel, just a couple months before, went down to New Zealand, him and the FBI, and opened up a brand new FBI office in New Zealand. So how does all this lay out? And it's just like, oh, it's just a coincidence. But they're leaving you breadcrumbs.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So I think, it's much more than meets the eye. Just like how the Snake Eyes poster said. Did you see the parallels with that?
Yep.
So the whole Snake Eyes thing, if people don't know, it was a 1998 movie with Nicolas Cage, depicts everything that happened in the movie. So you have a detective who goes to a boxing match, witnesses a murder, the Secretary of Defense, and what's his name? Charles Kirkland. What are the chances? And the fact that the girl next to him had a white satin suit. She was a blonde lady. And what did Erica Kirk have on during the memorial? A white satin suit. She's a blonde lady. And then there's so many other things with that movie. There's the name of the boxer in the ring. His name was Tyler the Executioner. Same name as the killer who executed Charlie Kirk. So how is it all these things are just coincidences if it wasn't planned, if it wasn't orchestrated?
Yep.
And this is how they plan years in advance. This is how, secret societies and, esoteric magic works through symbolism, through media, movies, music. This is how they work. And how 9/11 was a 33-year cycle and all this other things. So this is how all this stuff works.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You always said on previous shows, it's always in the movies.
Yeah, it is. It's always in the movies.
Yeah. Have you looked into Erica Kirk at all?
I have. It's very interesting. So a lot of people aren't trusting her. And it is pretty odd that she was, she won a pageant back in 2012. She was Miss Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty interesting that pageant, who owned it? Trump did. So she knew Trump way before Charlie Kirk. Okay, you could say that's a coincidence. But how is it that she was not only connected to the military, she worked with, she started a charity when she was 17, working with military officials. She went over did missions in Romania. And people were saying that the whole mission was linked to trafficking. But there is an article from 2001 before she got there. So I don't know how credible that is, but it is pretty interesting that those two things are linked. But also, if you look into her parents, that's where it gets interesting. So her mom, Lori, I believe her name, it's like Francis or something like that. Lori, she actually has a multitude of companies, and one of them being E3 Tech Corp. And E3 Tech Group actually, they specialize in EMPs. So if you don't know what EMP is, it's an electromagnetic pulse, which basically blows out, electric devices, creates blackouts.
Yeah.
So they prevent that, right? Tell me why she did, secret missions with the government in Iraq. So it's pretty interesting that she has government ties as well. And then her father as well wrote books for government, strategic, plans. He has a book called Business Intelligence for Government Officials and whatnot. So all these different things in the government have heavy, heavy ties. So again, I think that they have more ties than what they're putting on to.
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. I don't know if we'll ever know the truth, honestly.
Probably not. I think it did move a little fast, being that she's the CEO and chairman of Turning Point USA now. She's doing podcasts, 2 weeks removed from her husband being killed, smiling. It just looks weird. I don't know. It looks very strange. Like if I lost my significant other tragically, I'm not thinking about a podcast. I'm in the house, I'm getting affairs in order. Like it's very strange to me.
Yeah, it is a little weird to me.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. So YouTube censorship under Biden, that came out last week, I think, right?
It did. So what happened with that is under the Biden administration, Google said that they had a lot of pressure from, the Biden administration saying there was a censorship going on YouTube. Even if they weren't breaking guidelines and their policies, they were saying, hey, anything politically driven that's the opposite of what we represent, ban it. So there's a lot of accounts that, went under, scrutiny, banned, and, that's completely unconstitutional. Like, you just can't say, hey, take that off because we don't like it. Well, there's something called the freedom of speech. It's in our Constitution. So they just said, hey, we were under pressure. We really couldn't do anything, being that, Biden was in power. So they just completely admitted it and just said, yeah, they were doing illegal activities, and, there's nothing we can do because, YouTube and Google, they make a lot of government money as well. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting that, all this is coming to light now, and nobody thought the wiser when, and that's the thing. That's what happened to me. Like, they tried to pay me off. Kamala Harris came to me and said, hey, we want your voice. They tried to pay me off because I was exposing her for many different things. I was saying that she was being, coerced into saying things or being controlled by Obama. Yeah. All these different things. And, she's a word salad queen. She can't put shit together. So when she did the debate with Trump, she sounded eerily similar to Mr. Obama himself. Okay. And then there's footage of Obama saying, hey, I wish I can control the whole company or the whole country through an earpiece in a basement. Who says that? Like, that's very weird to say. I was like, okay, well, she has an earpiece. And then they did this whole hit piece on me on New York Post and Yahoo Finance and Forbes. So it's, pretty interesting that all this is coming out now. So I think, it's the latter. I think all this stuff is true.
Yeah, I remember when she was wearing that earring.
Yeah.
That circular earring, right? You're talking about.
There's earrings at CES called Nova earrings that look exactly like her earrings. So she was saying like, oh yeah, there were Tiffany earrings. that's not true. But I'm like, you don't think they can make a version that looks like Tiffany earrings?
No.
So, and they look exactly like, look up Nova earphones. It looks exactly like hers.
Today, Diddy got sentenced, right?
He did.
4 years.
4 years.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think that everybody wins on paper, right? So you have the feds, they got their conviction rate. He gets, somewhat some time. Everybody was trying to give him like 10 plus years, 11 years. But he didn't get hit with the main charges, like the Mann Act and all this other stuff. So if he did, then yeah, he was for sure going away for a long time. But 4 years, he has some time served, about 14 months. He'll be out around 2027, I say, with maybe some good behavior, some, house arrests. I think that it looks good for everybody. And I think that he didn't get with the serious charges. So 4 years, hey, it is what it is. He has to sit down and do his time and all the other stuff. I think it was just kind of a red herring, a white noise, like, pouring, baby oil on his nipples and all this weird shit. All that stuff isn't illegal.
Yeah.
But I think, he was learning from the elites and he kind of bit the hand that fed him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. So I do find it interesting that he, like, if we are talking about time served, if it's around 2028, 27, we were just saying 27 is an interesting year.
A lot's going to go down that year.
A lot's going to go down. So you were saying Atlas, they were saying something about that, or?
Yeah, so I just had a psychic on, and she remote viewed the future, which, by the way, when you remote view the future, stuff can still change. But she said on the current timeline, that comet is going to emit something in the atmosphere and cause a lot of disease. It's going to be another pandemic-like situation. And she said those with weakened immune systems, a lot of them will be wiped out.
Right. So again, for one, health is wealth. I tell everybody, hey, make sure you're taking care of yourself, like eat right, get your immune system in check, because we've already experienced 2020, right? We've seen a lot. I think that was a precursor. Now, going into something that's 10 times worse, I could see that, because back in 2019, Event 201 happened. So Bill Gates actually simulated COVID before it happened. And this is a year before, right? So then a year later, oh, surprise, surprise, and then he's an advocate for vaccines, obviously. So I find that pretty interesting. But if we have something 10 times worse, 2027, if she said that, that's a pretty interesting year, because this has been predicted. So you have a song by Sammy Hagar, and he has a song called Crack in the World. Now, it's an old song from the 70s, came out in 1977. He mentions the year 2025. He says that's when the crack starts. That's when the Great Divide starts, right? He says this in the song. Then he says we only have 50 years left. So from the time he made that song, 1977, 50 years later is what? 2027. So I find that interesting too, because that could be a year that, stuff really gets weird. So hearing that too, to where, we may have another pandemic going down there is like, and it's going to be way worse, what she said, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That could be something that's to look for.
Damn, that is scary, dude.
Yeah.
Pandemic was pretty bad. I can't imagine something worse.
Yeah. And I've been hearing that too. I've been hearing that from like different remote viewers, psychics. They were saying like, hey, 2020 was a precursor to the real one. And this is why they simulate stuff, right? And then they unleash it in 2020. They're like, okay, we saw the effects of that. It worked. But now let's do something even bigger, right? So I think they were planning for that bigger plan.
Jeez, that's crazy. Yeah, with all the stuff they're pumping in the atmosphere, who knows what the real agenda of it is, right?
Right. Chemtrails.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've heard theories that they're putting stuff in those chemtrails to make people, like, their immune system weaker.
Could be. And that could be, a precursor, again, to 2027. Now, isn't it funny? Since the government has shut down, we don't see any chemtrails.
Yeah, shut down Friday, right, today?
Right. Now, if you look in the sky, like I've been seeing pictures, people have been sending me pictures. I looked outside, I'm like, where are all the little streaks in the sky? I haven't seen them.
Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So pay attention to what doesn't happen, right? So like when the government shuts down, you see where the dollars go. So if you don't see any streaks in the sky, you're like, wait a minute. So Who's funding this? And that's the thing. People always say like chemtrails is a conspiracy. This has already been confirmed. I've seen planes where it literally has a switch that says chemtrails, and you switch it, and the shit goes. So it's not much of a conspiracy, you know?
I think they're even offering pilots money to start doing it. I saw some stuff about that too.
Yeah. I've talked to some pilots, and they told me some wild stuff.
Yeah.
I might have them on my podcast.
Wow.
Yeah. Like one of them is a private pilot, and another one is commercial.
Yeah.
And they told me like all the secrets, all this other stuff. They
Holy
told me
shit.
they told me that planes, majority of the time, they're not flying at all.
What?
Yeah. They said maybe about, if they have like a 4-hour trip, 5-hour trip, they're probably flying 30 minutes.
What?
Yeah. The rest of the time, the plane is flying.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The plane has like technology to where it just completely just controls itself. Even landing, I was like, hey, even landing, you guys don't really control it? He's like, no, it draws a straight line and it follows the line to the T.
No way.
Yeah.
So what's the point of a pilot then?
Exactly. I don't know. It's just the kind of monitor.
Yeah.
You know? So they were
If
saying
something
like,
goes wrong.
Yeah, something goes wrong, they can take control, but
Wow.
most of the time these planes are flying themselves.
That's nuts. Have any of them seen UFOs in the sky?
I asked them the same thing. Yeah. They said they seen footage from other, valid sources, not them themselves, but they were like, yeah, this guy, he's really well respected. He's showing me some like really weird stuff, but they've never seen stuff themselves. But, that's what they say.
Yeah. Well, it depends where they're flying to a lot, I bet. Because
Right.
there's certain hot spots, right?
Right, exactly. Like if you fly like in Nevada a lot, like 80% of the land in Nevada is government owned.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff goes down here. But I think that here, Alabama, where you have Rocket City down there,
Yeah.
you have certain places in America that are super hot spots for sure.
I know the Area 51 employees fly out of Vegas.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
know about that plane that doesn't exist?
No, what happened?
So if you look in the sky and out here in Vegas, so there's a plane that takes off damn near every day and has a red stripe, and it's not supposed to exist. And it's I believe it's called Janet. I think it stands for just another non-existing terminal or something like that. And basically, it flies the employees of Area 51 to and from the base. But it's not supposed to exist. But if you look up, it's a red stripe plane. It's a white plane with a red stripe.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So it goes invisible or what happens?
No. It's a plane that you see, but like on paper, it doesn't exist.
Oh, so you can't track it.
You can't track it.
Because there are sites that you could track if you have the tail number, right?
Right. And
Wow.
that's the thing. So like this plane doesn't have any, numbers. You can't track it, but that's what they call it. They call it Janet.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I want to interview someone that works there, dude.
Yeah.
Someone that
You
retired.
should.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think they'd spill the tea? Shout out to today's sponsor, Quince. As the weather cools, I'm swapping in the pieces that actually gets the job done, that are warm, durable, and built to last. Quince delivers every time with wardrobe staples that'll carry you through the season. They have fall staples that you'll actually want to wear, like the 100% Mongolian cashmere for just $60. They also got classic fit denim and real leather and wool outerwear that looks sharp and holds up. By partnering directly with ethical factories and top artisans, Quince cuts out the middleman to deliver premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. They've really become a go-to across the board. You guys know how I love linen and how I've talked about it on previous episodes. I picked up some linen pants and they feel incredible. The quality is definitely noticeable compared to other brands. Layer up this fall with pieces that feel as good as they look. Go to quince.com/DSH for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. They're also available in Canada too.
Maybe if they're active, maybe not.
Yeah, not active.
Yeah,
no way.
If they're like,
active.
already like discharged, then they'll probably give it up. But like you see the plane every day though. Like it takes
no,
off.
I've been to the airport. They showed me where they take off from.
Yeah.
They said if you even try to get on the tarmac, they'll arrest you.
Damn.
Yeah, they keep that shit under wraps.
Oh yeah. So some stuff going down.
Yeah. What do you think of the Jimmy Kimmel stuff last week?
That was interesting. I don't know. I think that it was all planned. I think that, well, here's a few things with that. So Jimmy Kimmel says what he says about the Charlie Kirk situation, gets banned off air, right? Then There was a station in Sacramento, an ABC affiliate station, gets shot up. Now, who does this? So this guy shoots up the place. And then they always find some type of manifesto or some type of note. Who writes notes nowadays? It's weird.
Yeah.
So they looked in his car and found a note saying something about Epstein and the government is, they're playing all of us and all this other stuff and all this weird shit. But that happens, right? Then they see it as backlash. They're like, oh, well, this is getting dangerous. Let's put him back on air. So I think they always thought that, hey, let's take him off of air. Let's get some ratings and then put him back. Because it was like not even a week.
Yeah.
Right? It was like maybe like 4 or 5 days, like barely he got taken off.
So you think it was some 4D chess?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. And I think they were trying to mask it as like freedom of speech and like, oh, well, look how it's backfiring and freedom of speech, the left, the right, all this other stuff. All that is a chess game anyway.
Yeah.
Right? It's two wings on the same bird. So I think all that was planned. And not only that, so when he comes back, his viewership goes up. He gets like 6 million viewers, on the show.
Yeah.
Way more than what he does. And then now if you look at his ratings, it like completely drops like over 75%. So, it was a cash grab, probably some ratings and all that, of course. But it's all theater because why else does Jimmy Kimmel tape his whole entire show in a Masonic theater? Like if you look at his it's a Masonic theater.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I think it's all planned and that's how they operate.
That's
so
nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't think, nothing's what it seems with especially with Hollywood.
Yeah.
So
what year do you think we'll be on digital IDs by?
Oh man. It's gonna be before or right on 2020. 2030.
Okay.
2030, Agenda 2030. So I think that's their whole plan. So if you look into Agenda 2030, they keep changing the name too. So they call it the Plan for Sustainability and Agenda 21, and they keep changing the name. So you can't keep up with it, right? So I think that's probably in their plans. So we'll see it probably like maybe before then or right when the start of 2030. But we have a lot of people talking about it now. Oracle, they just bought TikTok.
Yeah.
Which is, very weird. And, that's going to be, I don't know about TikTok. Like I was leery about TikTok, but now it's like, I'm even more leery that, they're owning TikTok. You have Oracle, you have, the digital IDs, the owner of Oracle. Man, if you look into his family,
Ellison?
Ellison, Larry Ellison, and his son too. He owns Paramount.
Holy shit.
Paramount CBS.
That's a lot of influence.
Yeah. So he owns that, Skydance. And then you have his father, obviously, Oracle. Larry was talking about, he was at a conference and he was saying that, yeah, we need digital IDs. We need to, be safer. So it's in our best interest to have everybody on digital IDs. You won't be able to do, X, Y, and Z. He said that, citizens will behave better. I'm like, this sounds like a science project. Like this is why we have the police, right? Like we need to protect and serve and enforce, but this sounds like something else. This sounds like some Minority Report shit.
Yeah.
So he's really pushing for that. And, which I find interesting too, that on the day that Charlie Kirk died, he became the richest person on earth. Yeah. So
Larry did?
Yeah, Larry.
Wow.
Yeah. So all these things behind the scenes, people aren't paying attention to. So I think they're serving a purpose to where they got Charlie out of here because he's starting to ask questions and whatnot, but also to distract for a long time because nobody knew about that. So if you look at all these deals that happen behind the scenes, like that's what you need to be like paying attention to.
Yeah, 100%.
So
my TikTok got banned.
Yeah?
Yeah, I posted some pro-Palestine stuff, banned.
Oh, yeah. See, there you go.
Yeah.
So I think, do you think Israel's in control of TikTok now?
Yeah, I was watching Myron debate this yesterday with Officer Tatum. Basically, you can't do the juice box emoji anymore.
I saw that.
You can't say, what was it, APAC? Like, nothing comes up.
Right.
You can't say certain phrases anymore.
Right. So you could talk about America, you could talk about China, you could talk about anybody else. Not weird.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, that's very strange. So we have to start asking these questions, like, who's doing what. And that's the thing, like even going into the monetary system. So if you look into who controls the monetary system, I mean, you have the Rothschilds. So it's interesting because this is why I'm an advocate for crypto, because it's a global economy and nobody can control it. You can only participate. Right. So, but if you look at the system we're in now, people are like, "Whoa, crypto is the beast system." I'm like, you guys do know we're in the beast system now. Like, look at the back of your dollar. Look at this. Okay, so look at this. What does this say right here?
Where?
So, Novus Ordo Seclorum, right? You know what that means?
No.
That means new age or new order of the ages, okay? And this one right here, it says e pluribus unum on this seal right here. From one comes many. What does that sound like? A cult. From one comes many, right? Then you have, look, 13 stars right there. Then you have 13 arrows, 13 stripes, 13 on this right here. It's 13 leaves. So this represents the 13 colonies that started America, right? But it's really the 13 bloodlines that started America, the 13 families. So you have the Rothschilds and, you know,
Rockefellers, right?
Exactly. So these are the people who, you know, after 1913, when they started the Federal Reserve, started this new regime that we call America now. So this is what we're in now. Like, even like the seal right here. So there's an eye with a pyramid on it. And then these are 13 pillars.
Wow.
Right? So if you do, you know, you cross it from the M, the A to the S, and then MASON, like if you do it like a star like that, that's the seal of Solomon. And that spells Mason.
Holy crap.
Right? And that's on here. So the seal right here as well, you can do the same thing. So the seal is a pyramid like that, and then upside down like that. That's the seal. So that's supposed to be the seal or the actual symbol of the Antichrist.
That is crazy.
So it's all on our dollar. And that's the thing. Even before, like back in the day, when like look up here, it says Federal Reserve Note. So the Federal Reserve, it's not federal, doesn't have any reserves. Why are we adhering to anything what they're saying? It's a private entity. It's a bank that's owned by other banks, right? So before that, it used to say silver certificates. This is why they killed JFK. So he was trying to take us back to the silver certificate. He said silver certificate on the top, but now it says Federal Reserve Note. It's not even worth the paper it's printed on.
Yeah.
So this is the beast system we're in right now. Like, so we go to the Federal Reserve, they print up the money, loan it out, and we pay interest back on that, and it's not backed by anything. And then we pay taxes on it. Aren't we taxed at the gas, like gas tax, and we go to the grocery store and we're taxed, and so we have all these taxes. It's not backed by anything, and then we got to do our taxes during tax time, and then they just keep printing it up, and they're just like, hey, pay us back tenfold, and it's not even worth anything. So we lost 98% of our purchasing power since the Federal Reserve has been, since it started. How does that make sense?
That is nuts.
So this is the beast system we're in now.
That is nuts. Yeah, that's why I like crypto too.
Yeah, because it's transparent. You can see where it's going. You can see what other entities are doing or not doing. You know, like, and it's, you know, 24/7. We don't have to wait till it settles, because anytime you deposit your money into a bank, it's not yours anymore. What they're doing is they're flipping it. You know, they're loaning it out and making money on it, and then they give it back to you. So if you put in $100,000 into the bank and you try to go pull it out the next day, they're gonna give you hell. They're like, you have to wait.
They're gonna call the cops on your
ass. Exactly. And it's your money, right?
Yeah.
Not really.
Nope.
So, you know, that's the system we're in now.
China, Russia, and North Korea just met up. Was that yesterday?
No, that was a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago?
Yeah. That was about 3-4 weeks ago, and they had a whole parade in Beijing. And what happened is that Putin linked up with, you know, Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping. So they were just kind of flexing their power, and I thought that was really interesting because they're all part of, well, not North Korea, not yet, but they're all part of BRICS. So I find that pretty interesting because they're trying to opt out of, the U.S. dominance of the petrodollar. A lot of people aren't renewing their petrodollar. So they're trying to de-dollarize us right now. And that's where everything starts, between the war and money. Like, it's all connected. So I think that they're all clicking up. And these people individually, these countries, we're not worried about. But together, that's a problem. Right? So, and then even Trump is, he's back and forth with Putin right now. Like, they're cool, then they're not cool. They respect each other, but then they say like some slick shit and like, oh, I didn't like that. Like, so they're at odds. Like, they're kind of on and off. Even one of the representatives that work for Putin, he was saying that Trump is using crypto to get rid of our U.S. debt.
Wow.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting because he was saying that, hey, they're trying to load off this, $35 trillion debt with stable coins. And they can wipe the debt with this whole new system.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So again, going back into, they can't control it, but they can participate. So if they implement stable coins with the Genius Act and all these different things that's going on with crypto right now, we could wipe out our debt, essentially, like how Trump says, quote unquote, with a crypto check. Yeah. So is that a bad thing? Is it a good thing? It depends on what side you're kind of leaning towards.
Yeah.
Because we're never getting out of this debt, right? So like how this country has been running for the past, 100 years, there's no way. Yeah.
So if Trump pulls that off, he's the GOAT.
Yeah. If he does, hey, I'm with it. But a lot of people are not happy with Trump right now.
Yeah. He's getting a lot of heat because the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first thing he said. He was like, yo, when I get in office, the Epstein files are coming, the MLK files are coming, the JFK files are coming. So now it's a hoax.
Yeah.
So it's weird. And then, then his FBI director says, hey, he was an informant. So everybody calm down. He was an informant. That's why he was close to Epstein, which they did have a falling out. Epstein and Trump did have a falling out. He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. So that is documented. So it's going to be interesting to how it all unfolds. I'm really rooting for Trump. I am. But the Epstein files, I think now it's a distraction because we should have got him by now.
Yeah.
Right?
We would have if they were going to release it by now.
Right. And then, now they're saying, Elon Musk is in the Epstein files.
I was like, who did he piss off for that to happen?
Right. Because he was like, hey, let's get the Epstein files out.
Yeah.
And now he's like, oh, shit. Like, I'm in the files. Because they were saying, oh, yeah, is, Elon Musk still coming to the island December 6th? Oh, that is documented. So it's like, I don't know.
That was weird, yeah.
It is weird. So hopefully Trump is not compromised. I guess we'll see.
We'll see. The only one I've been happy about in his administration so far is RFK.
Yeah.
He's been getting shit done.
Yeah, he's been getting stuff done. And
you saw what he did with Walmart?
Yeah, how they're taking out the dyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. So when is that going to affect?
I'm not sure, but he did that. He also got some food dye banned a few months ago.
Yeah.
He's been delivering on everything he's talked about, honestly.
And that's the thing. You can't expect these people to just completely dismantle what has been upholded for decades.
Yeah.
So the FDA is super nefarious. Why do we have an administration that's correlated with food and drugs? Because the food makes you sick and then you got to take their drugs to get better. So you can't just deconstruct that in one, term. So I think he is doing his best and he is getting some stuff done for sure.
Yeah. His Congress hearings are fucking hilarious when you see the old ladies go after him.
Yeah.
I mean, I love watching those. They're so out of touch.
Yeah.
They're getting funding from pharma and they're going at him.
Yeah. Do you think there should be an age limit for Congress and the House and the Senate?
It's hard to say age limit just because we could advance in the future and live longer. But I think some sort of competency test or something, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I think so
some way
too.
to measure intelligence or if you can get stuff done.
Right. Because I think, when you have these 85-year-olds and they're falling down stairs and it's okay, so how are these people running the country and they can't even run themselves?
Right.
So that's a little scary. Being again, having some type of test to where it tests their intelligence and their health.
Yeah.
And I think that should be a thing for sure. We shouldn't have a bunch of Zen G Zen Alpha and Z and Gen whatever, but having some type of good medium. you know, to where it is like a balance of like you have some wisdom in there and then also have some youth in there too.
I agree.
Yeah.
What about presidential terms? You think 2 terms is enough?
I don't know. I think that we should have them probably be shorter.
Shorter?
Yes, so you can keep them accountable, right? So you have somebody go into office, 4 years they can fuck off, right? And then the last year they start to shape up because they want to get reelected.
Yeah.
Versus like Lieberland, I know, you know, some of those officials over there. Lieberland is a small sovereign country that is completely on blockchain. And what they do their elections every 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. All on blockchains, all transparent, super fast. They have their own governance tokens. And they do that to keep everybody accountable. So if you do a good job in 3 months, hey, guess what? You're going to get elected in another 3 months, right? So you're really going to do your job if you want to stay in office. And if you're not, you're going to get called out. So I think that's a great system. I don't think we should have something as short because we're a much bigger country, obviously. But if it's like 6 months or a year, hey, let's do a yearly review.
Yeah.
You know, just like a company does.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. So I think it should be something similar.
What'd you think of the rapture last week?
We're all here. So
Didn't
happen, right? So people were, and that's the thing. This is why I don't like dates, unless we're looking into like the past and we're like making connections that way. But if we're like trying to predict something, it really doesn't happen on the particular date. Yeah. When I do a prediction, it's usually like a theory or this time frame. Like, hey, look for it within a month or two, or maybe like 6 months, or even a year. But to have a date to say, hey, Jesus is coming back to get X, Y, and Z. Like, we can't even get along on this earth. How are we going to predict when Jesus is coming back?
Facts.
You know? So, like, we can't even decide, like, Democrat, Republican, this, that, white, black, gay, straight. Like, we can't figure any of this stuff out. But we know when Jesus is coming back. So, I don't know. It's funny how, you know, I really wonder who pushes these, like, ideas out, like on social media, and then people just grab onto them.
Yeah, that one went pretty viral. That reminded me of the 2012 one.
Yeah.
That one went really viral in 2012.
Right.
I remember people were going to sleep like saying, this is it.
Like, where do these come from, though? Like, who, like, starts it? I think, like, companies...
You think it's orchestrated?
I do. I think probably either companies, whoever benefits from it, they probably, you know, leak it out to certain accounts or certain people, like put it out there, and then people grasp onto it and give it life.
It all comes down to money, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, Israel, there was a hit piece on them saying they were paying $7,000. Did you see this?
I did.
For influencer.
Do you think that's true?
I think they're paying money to people. I mean, they already confirmed it, I believe.
Did they?
I think there was a list of 18 people. I don't know if it's confirmed, but I remember seeing this image of 18 people.
So what about Tatum?
He wasn't on that list of 18.
Okay.
But he could be on it.
Okay.
Maybe behind the scenes, who knows?
Has he always advocated for Israel? Or?
I've had him on 3 times. He's been pro-Israel ever since, so I'll give him that. But he's been, I feel like, way more outspoken recently.
Interesting.
You know?
How was the debate with him and Myron?
It was good. I saw it. It was a virtual debate. Myron had him on. It was pretty respectful. I thought Myron won, though. It's a hard position to defend, dude.
Okay.
Being pro-Israel these days.
Yeah. I gotta check that out.
Yeah. I feel like I've never seen, because I've seen a few Israel-Palestine debates now.
Yeah.
I've never felt like the Israel side has won any of the ones I've seen. What about you?
I don't know. I think in those situations, nobody wins because people forget about the actual war that's going on. And people are losing their lives on both sides. And I like to make the point of this. When you're talking about heads of state, government, we have to remove those people from the actual people, right? So I know a lot of Jewish people that are amazing, and they're like, yo, like, whatever they do, I'm not a part of this. Like, you know, like, same thing. Like, even with black people, I try to keep people, like, so accountable, especially black people, because I'm black. And I like to tell them, like, hey, don't mix us up with these group of people. So there's black people and then there's niggas. So that's my thing. And that I make that correlation. Even me and Devon, we say this all the time. They make it harder for us.
Yeah, facts.
For educated people who are well-mannered. those people, the 1% of people, the elites push them to the top. That's why you have your Cardi B's and Meg Thee Stallions and shaking their ass and being sexualized and all this bullshit that most black people aren't like. And that's why like clowns like Benny Johnson, he's a fucking joke because he was saying like, oh yeah, 1 out of every 22 black men will be a murderer in their lifetime. I'm like, well, by that case, do you realize that every team in the NBA would have a serial killer on there? So that doesn't make sense. And he made the point of, you guys are only 13% of the population, but commit 51% of the crime and the murders. I'm like, okay, well, for one, the fact that half those cases, or more than half, about 52%, those cases are actually exonerated. So there's an imbalance in the system. Wow. Right? So like when you're saying like these things and spewing out all this bullshit and race baiting shit, that's where it gets dangerous. Yeah. That's nuts. They tell one side of the story, but not the other. Right. So I like to call that stuff out. But again, it makes it harder for us, the very civil, educated black people, when all these other people, the 1% that's just unruly, that has a chip on their shoulder, no accountability. I call them out and keep them accountable because I can. And I think every group of people should do that. Well said. Yeah. Yeah, Benny's an interesting dude, man. You saw he just got exposed last week? No. You didn't see that? No. Shout out to Keith Edwards. I think he broke the story. Really? What happened? Benny he's gay. Really? Yeah. Which, I don't, but if you're married. Wait. Okay, hold on. How? Tell me this. How? Look up Keith Edwards. Okay. He's been on the show. He's one of the biggest creators on the left. Okay. And he got some, I don't know who he talked to. It could have been the lover or got some evidence on him, made a whole video about it. I think he's married, but he's like closeted gay. Oh, so. He's down low. Yeah. So my whole thing is like, just be authentic. Be authentic. I have no problem. I don't care if you're gay. Exactly. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't pay my bills. I don't care. I don't have time to even care. But great. If you're going on shows and giving dating advice and like talking about, marriage and shit, like, right, and then you're gay, it's kind of weird to me. Oh my God. That's crazy. You found it? You found it? Oh yeah, send that to me. Yeah. So, I'm going in. I mean, that was weird, bro. He goes too hard. That's the thing. Like that guy, like, he tells one side of the fence, and he's trying to paint a picture. Now it makes sense. It makes sense because he goes so hard on certain things. I'm a patriot, and a conservative, and you're gay. Yeah. Oh, come on, and you're not like telling your truth. Yeah. If you're gonna say things like that, you gotta live that life. You gotta live that life. That's why I respect Fuentes, even though he's really like opinionated. He lives that life. Right. He stands on what he says. Right. Damn. Oh yeah. Crazy, right? I'm making a video on that. I'm making a video on that. Crazy. What's your next video? Where are you going next? What's planned this year? Man, there's a lot of stuff. There's crypto's going up right now. Yeah. We call it Uptober. Yep. So I think that's gonna be interesting. I'll do some more finance stuff on that. I actually did a video on Disney on how they're giving clues on crypto. And that's going viral right now. So there's a movie called Elemental that came out in 2023. And there's two characters in this movie called Amber Lumens and Wade Ripple. Now, what two tokens are going to be running the new financial system? Ripple, XRP, and then Stellar Lumens. So you have these two tokens named the same two characters in this movie working in an ecosystem. Because that's what ISO 222 is. So you have a bunch of tokens working together, like, Stellar Lumens, you have XRP, you have HBAR, you have AVAX, like all these ISO tokens that's going to be running the financial system. So I found that pretty interesting and made the correlation. And get this, after I posted that video, I get a DM and they want to be anonymous. And they're saying, hey, I'm a former VP at Marvel. Keep this under wraps, but you're right. This is how they use a lot of stuff. I was there for over 10 years, and they use symbolism. They drop stuff in movies. Wow. They do all kind of stuff. So you're right over the target. Holy crap. Told me how everything works. Like they have these, symbolisms, and they do, it's esoteric. So here's the thing about Walt Disney, what people don't know too. He was a Mason, a master Mason as well. You can look this up. There's pictures of him. So in the, you know, occult and esoteric, you know, teachings and magic, how they work, this is why they're in media, movies, and music, and, you know, things that we see. They use symbolism and numbers and colors and logos because that's how they communicate, right? It's called karmic debt. So if they show you, hey, I showed you, but if you decide to believe it or not, it's on you, but it's there. So that's how they work. And she confirmed that, a VP at Marvel.
I'm going to buy me some Stellar when I get home.
Exactly. It's crazy.
Shit, man. Where can people learn from your crypto stuff and catch up with you?
Yeah, so maverickapproach.com. Of course, Maverick Approach on Instagram. Check out Jet Set Studios, first creator studio here in Vegas that's going to be on blockchain. Jet Set token is my token. So we have a lot of products and services that we're going to be doing. I have workshops that's going to be there. So you'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be filming there, doing some debates there.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I
Yeah,
can't
it's
wait
going to be good.
start filming there.
That's what we got going on.
All right, guys, check them out. Peace.
Sir.
I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the show a lot with the algorithm. Thank you.